since we're on the topic of books, let's just talk more about like the education of books. Because I mean, obviously you're well spoken, you're well versed in books, and I mean that's just one of the books. I think another book that you were talking about at the time was Mamba Mentality,
Mm,
which is the Kobe Bryant book.
Kobe Bryant.
I
Yeah.
want you to talk about like the past 10 years. What book do you recommend to an entrepreneur that has the gusto but just needs a little bit more information to make the next step?
Anyone that hasn't started off yet, but wants to explore the idea of it, because I never considered myself to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, I even took a class in college. It's like entrepreneurship. Right? It's like it sounds very daunting. It's like what the hell does that mean? Um, but for me, like what really piqued my interest was early on. I read a book called 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Right, so that's a staple for a lot of entrepreneurs, I believe. What it offers is not it's not necessarily a solution to a 4 hour work week, although it could, right? But what it offers is, I think, a set of it breaks your beliefs, right? So a set of experiences after you dive into the book, in which it'll challenge your beliefs in terms of what's possible, in terms of maybe how you have been living and or what you're looking forward to in life, right? And just challenge you to ask deeper questions and design your life in a way that's ideal for you, in a way that's most meaningful to you, right? Because I think too often we just go through life and then we don't question where we're at, why we're doing certain things, and what we're doing, and where we're on the path towards, right? I think the book for our work week, it created the sense of possibility of like, wow, like I see what Tim is saying, but can that be real? And I've actually like I've lived through not all of what Tim has lived through. Naturally, it would be weird. I'm not trying to model it or anything like that, but like I've lived through a fair share of experiences that I never thought would have been possible like 4 years ago. Right? It's like I spent like just last year, like I spent 3 months in Playa del Carmen, just like living in the coast of Mexico, building an online business that was growing very rapidly, right? It's like with a couple of my best friends that I love spending time with, right? It's like we would hit the beach Monday, Wednesday, Friday at like 7:30 a.m., just walking onto the beach of Mexico with like feet in white sand and beautiful blue waters in like January of like 2021, right? It's like where it should be winter, right? So experiences like that, it's shared also in the 4 hour work week, and I've lived it. So for any person that's looking to dive into entrepreneurship, or has this faint curiosity of what that could be, what it really means is how do you design a life that you care about? How do you design a life that's meaningful to you, right? So I would start there. The 4 hour work week. That's the first book. For anyone that has taken jumping that has jumped into entrepreneurship, then at that point it becomes a little bit different, right? So because to me, that you have jumped into entrepreneurship means you have jumped into a vehicle that's ideally taking you to where you want to go, and you want to make sure that that's a vehicle that's a good fit for you, right? Now that vehicle could be only a brick and mortar gym. That vehicle could be a digital marketing agency. That vehicle could be building out online courses. That vehicle could be affiliate marketing. That vehicle could be maybe learning high ticket sales or whatever it may be, right? So whatever vehicle that you're jumping into on this path of entrepreneurship, I think there are two books that are off the top of my head that's in my opinion, a must read for any kind of business owners that operate any kind of businesses. The first one, it's by Russell Brunson. It's called .com Secrets. Right. So what it does is actually builds a foundation and a blueprint in terms of what a business actually is. Because I think it's, without diving into the world of business, you understand that business is just it's components of these sub units, if you will, right? Um, so one of the things the books actually walks through is, for example, in order to build a business, you just need to ask yourself pretty much 4 questions. That's one of the main fundamental things I've gathered. Who is it that you want to serve? Who do you want to help? What is the result you're looking to provide them with? You answer those 2 questions. Who do you want to help? What kind of result do you want to deliver to them? Right. So what's the experience? And when you search for the answer to those questions long enough, you'll find a product or service. We get really clear on those 2 things, right? And then naturally you can dive deeper into like, okay, well, how am I the person that's able to do this? So on and so forth. How do I go about doing that? So on and so forth. And then you figure it out, right? But you come out the other end of those 2 questions after your search, like you have a product or service. Then the next 2 questions is, where do I find the people I want to serve? And how do I hook them in? Hmm. You find the answer to those 2 questions, you crack marketing and sales. right? So you identify where you people are living, whether it's digitally, like let's say like in a blog or in a Facebook group, or maybe on Instagram, where you can find them through a specific hashtag or whatever it may be. And then how do you hook them in? How do you start a conversation? How do you actually get them to want to do business with you? You come through to the end of those two questions. You have marketing and sales, right? So that's a must read in my eyes, right? So .com Secrets, it's Russell's brilliant what he does. It's incredible. And then the next piece then once you have built the fundamentals, the next piece that's strategic, that's high level, that you can put into action, is $100 million offer by Alex Hormozi. It's I think it's been the number one best-selling book when it comes to marketing and advertising for the past, like, I don't know, a year since he's rolled it out. And it's for a reason. It's like 99 cents. That man is what I would say like a genius when it comes to business. He really is, right? It's like, and I've really respected and admired also from afar. I've learned a shit tons from him, right? It's like we actually have very similar business model. It was like a month and a half of me jumping into my own vehicle, into my own business, that I learned of him because he was the biggest player in the space at the moment. But just learning from afar, $100 million offer, the way he breaks down very complex topics, such as like how do you define value, right, into such simple equations or infographics. The man's world class. So if you are on the path of entrepreneurship, you have a vehicle that you want to learn, how do I build a better foundation for my business? How do I want to build a very deep foundation so I can build something that is meaningful to me? Those two books are, in my opinion, a must read.